Welcome back guys. So our new anime begins with Kanata, but our protagonist was stabbed by a psychopath again and again until he died, but then Kanata woke up somewhere else and the old goblin named him Gobru. Kanata then realized he was reborn as a baby goblin, but just in the 3 days he matured up to a teen's body. Goblins age fast in this world. So Gobru goes out to check out this new world and behind him Gobkichi follows him. He was a fellow kid born besides Gobru and both finds out their first hunt, but after hunting it Gobru got a mail from System and he got confused. But Gobkichi was drooling to eat rabbit meat, so Gobru first gets back to his dinner, then Gobru used the rabbit horn for hunt, and after consuming the meat of his prey, System notified Gobru he copied escape skill. It's a type of absorption power he had in his previous life as well, that lets him copy any skill of his prey, but in this life he got System as bonus. He was making use of the horn. But there were many predators in the forest. Then at day 6, a girl named Gobmi finds out Gobru and Gobkichi are eating rabbit meat, so she started to sweet talk with Gobru. And Gobru knew Gobmi wants to join him to eat meat, so he invited her for the hunt, but the next day the heavy rainfall took place, so their plan was cancelled, and Gobru decided to hit the storage to find material to build up some weapons, but there he found some pregnant human girls. It was clear that goblins were keeping them to make goblin babies, but Gobru swallowed his anger for now, so while he was making his weapon, that old man Gobiji came in and showed Gobru how to see his level. Gobru was at level 86 and once he passed 100, Gobiji told him he would evolve into Hobgoblin. There are few Hobgoblin that would return from their hunt bringing in many loots, so Gobiji tells Gobru to look forward to it. So the next day, Gobru goes out to hunt with Gobkichi and Gobmi. They hunted down a snake and some other hunt, and eating snake meat, Gobru copied its skill as well. Then at day 9, they got a bit overboard thinking they could explore a cave. They were attacked by bats. And Gobru used an evil eye skill from that snake. Thanks to that they survived, but seeing them, others were jealous, so at night, those group of goblin tried to hurt Gobru. But he had search skill active and beats all of them, but one of them died because Gobru used a little too much poison. But who cares? Then on day 13, they came across an orc, and with a little bit of effort and teamwork, they got him as well. Orc meat was enough to fill the tummy of those 3, so they hunted more and shared it among their peers. Gobru was becoming boss of those new goblins, and at night, System asked Gobru's consent to evolve. Gobru was sleepy, so he selected yes, and when he woke up, he saw himself transformed into a hobgoblin. And not just him, Gobkichi also evolved. So he wanted to spar with Gobru. So they goes out to have bout, and Gobru beats Gobkichi with skill set. But Gobkichi was centered and had more raw power, but there Gobru called Gobmi and told her to bring out her crossbow, because Gobru sensed a pack of wolf in the area. So Gobru and his team swaps in for a nice hunt, and after a little struggle, all the wolves were hunted, and again Gobru gave extra to the others, and there, others asked Gobru to teach them hunting. Gobru agreed to train them. And thus he becomes the leader of a new generation of goblins. But the next day, something terrible happened. All the captive human women drank poison and committed suicide, and feeling bad for them, Gobru made a funeral for them, after which, at the 26th day, Gobru levels up and absorbed many monsters to copy their abilities, but someone was approaching them, so Gobru was ready for fight. But Gobiji stops him because they were hobgoblins that went on a hunt and they are fathers of their generation. They brought loots as well as women's with them, and Gobru knew what would happen to them, so he asked Gobkin, their leader, to hand over women's responsibility to him, and Goblin got pissed hearing this. New Gen and Old Gen got ready for war, so Sita and Gobi came in and suggested that the leader of both Gen should fight and the winner would rule the goblins. Gobkin agreed first, and the results were obvious, so now Gobru becomes the leader and everyone had to accept it. He orders to never lay a hand on the girls and Gobru promised them he would return them back to the human village someday. Redhead wants to know what she has to do here, and Gobru asks her to teach him about the outside world. So the girls told him that goblins attacked their carriage, killed the mans, and brought her and other girls here, so Gobru started to personally take care of them and they got a bit positive over time. Gobru learned that humans in this world do not evolve and age slowly as they did in his previous world. And the red hair eventually became comfortable with Gobru. Then for the next few days, Gobru made some rules and was training others and fighting off with Gobkichi. but at night, Gobkin and his lackey were about to assault the girls in their sleep. But Gobru knew about them and beats them up. Girls woke up from the sound of the fight, and their Gobkin still couldn't submit and obey Gobru's rules. Gobru apologized for this and Rubelia broke down in tears, so Gobru beats all of Gobkin and his men outside to set an example of assaulting women and not obeying his rules would lead to this, and left them to die just like that. Then sometime after that, Gobru and his team hunted down a scaled horse and copied his top-notch skill. It gave him triple blast from that horse, and then, Rubelia comes to sleep with Gobru. He thought girl is still scared remembering that incident so he comforted her, but Gobmi also sneaked into his bed. Then, Gobkichi becomes captain of knights, Gobmi handled archer unit, Gabi was leader of supply unit, and after that, Gobru goes off alone to hunt all by himself. He hunts down that scale horse with magic and saw its awesome powers, so getting overconfident from its power. He goes deeper into the forest and saw the trail of blood. Gobiji had warned this one time that there lives a big bear in the woods that eats a goblin whole, and the bear now comes out since Gobru is in his territory, but instead of running away, Gobru feels excited and jumps in for a fight. Gobmi was worried because no one knew where Gobru went and even at sunset he hadn't returned. But Gobru was near death situation while fighting that grisly red bear. Its attacks were overwhelming, and it could even breathe fire, but Gobru found a place to hide in time, and jumps out with a new tactics. He heads straight on by using a water barrier, and he stabbed the bear in his mouth, but even so, the bear threw Gobru off like a pebble. He got some serious injuries, but he stood back up and used his axe on its head, but it only gave him a scratch, and he lost his arm, but eventually he won. But the paws were stabbed in his tummy, so Gobru at the bear and copied his skills. And before passing out, he filled the criteria to evolve into an ogre, and the system asked for permission again, and Gobru selected yes. Then as he woke up, he was transformed into a red ogre but only had one arm, and other goblins got scared of him, but their Gobmi recognized him at a glance and got angry at him. Bro was scolded, and others were fired up to evolve just like him. And that's where episode 1 and 2 comes to an end. But to watch more of this anime, comment down in the comments section, and if you want to watch more newly released anime, then subscribe to the channel. Until then, take care.